Breeding dogs has become a huge moneymaker for breeders, but there can be dangers and downsides if it's not done properly and dogs are not cared for properly.
Right. Veterinarian Dr. Jill Rubin joins us from her clinic in Orangeville with some helpful suggestions on responsible breeding. And we're looking at an ultrasound. Who do we have there on the table, Doc?
Well, this is Rogue. She's a 5-year-old purebred Rottweiler who has some puppies. So we're ultrasounding her today. We're talking about being a responsible breeder, avoiding the backyard breeders, and making sure your pet is healthy. I don't know if you can see on there, there's a little heartbeat right on the screen there. Let's see if I can move this and talk and point at the same time. You can kind of see right here.
Right there.
Aww.
And, can you count all the puppies while you're doing that?
We can count them all. We haven't taken a head count yet. There's probably at least 4 to 5 that we've seen so far this morning.
Wow. That's cool.
Hey, like with grown-up, like with humans, do we get to find out if they're boys or girls in advance, or is that asking too much?
That's pretty tough, Paul.
All right.
I don't know if we can do that.
Just close inspection.
Just trying to relate. All right, so give us some tips on responsible breeding, because that's really what we're talking about here this morning.
Right. Well, the breeder who owns Rogue is a very responsible breeder. She has certain tests done prior to breeding, and several of them are checking the heart, checking the eyes. There's specific exams for dogs that are going to be bred as well. There's certain venereal diseases that we actually check for as well, if you can believe that, and also hips and elbows. So all these tests are done prior to breeding, and we want to make sure that we're going to have a proper breeding and a good, healthy set of puppies.
Now, I'm looking at what's on our screen. I'm assuming we just covered examination, vet clearance, and blood work. So it's just, it's a good, thorough physical. Also on our screen here it says genetic testing. Really? We're doing that with dogs?
We are doing some genetic testing, and we want to make sure their pedigrees are in the right order, make sure their papers are in the right order. You know, we're trying to avoid the backyard breeders. Make sure you take them to your veterinarian. Most breeders who are reputable will give you 72 hours to take your pet to the veterinarian to make sure the animal is healthy. Really important to have them vaccinated and dewormed at the proper times as well.
What are some of the risks we see with breeding? I mean, we see a lot of people breeding all these different dogs to make these designer dogs. What are some risks people really need to be aware of if they're thinking about breeding their animals?
Well, I think you need to be careful about whose pet has what condition. Make sure to take them to the veterinarian. Also, I see a lot of animals that aren't dewormed prior as well. So a lot of pets have parasites, and they pass them to the puppies via the milk. The mother can actually do that.
Okay, and we need to remember one last question, because on our bullet point there was proper diet. Do we just, at the pet store, is there a pregnancy chow? Or what
prenatal?
Do we yeah.
Prenatal diets? Well, I think putting them on a good quality diet to begin with is really important. Check with your veterinarian or your local pet or feed store. And also as well, there's some great vitamins out there for pregnancy now. They do have higher requirements. The pets do need to eat more often. The mothers have more frequent feedings as well.
Okay. All right. Jill, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and you do a great job, and we look forward to our next time around. Thank you very much. If anybody out there has a question for Dr. Jill, check out our website. It's drjilljyl.com, or you can call her up. That's the phone number there on the screen. And I really enjoy chatting with Dr. Jill.